Hey guys, welcome to Red and Blue, the place on YouTube for PSG content in English every day. Today, PSG is on the move. The club announced the two finalist candidate cities to host its next stadium, following years of back and forth with Paris Town Hall on potentially PSG buying out its current stadium in Parc des Princes and expanding it. It looks like in the short term that is not an option for both political and practical reason, and so the club has been scouting for potential location throughout the Paris area. The two final places, one in Massy to the south of Paris, and the second one in Poissy to the west, are fairly remote locations, both around 30 kilometers plus away from current stadium of Parc des Princes, both really on the outskirts of the Paris urban area. And even if both have access to public transportation and highways and so on, it would be a big move that would see the club leave its Parisian nest and move to the suburbs of the capital city. It is expected that the club wants to build not only a stadium, but a full area dedicated to the club with entertainment facilities, shopping center, hotels, and so on, similar to what other clubs have been doing. So we'll have to see how those plans come to speed. Fans are still hoping that next year mayoral elections in Paris might see a change of leadership that would then allow for discussions between the club and the town hall to restart on selling Parc des Princes. In my opinion, it would be a shame to see the club leave its nest and move so far away from the center of Paris. Much of the club identity has been tied to Parc des Princes, and a lot of historical fans have very deep links to that stadium and a deep attachment to it. Personally, I think the stadium has probably lived its glory days. It's now a stadium that's about 70 years old, that's very, very limited in terms of expansions capacity. And area around it to build other complex and other facilities. With this in mind, I'm not surprised that the club would want to move to a new place, but moving so far away from the center of Paris really raises questions in terms of whether some fans will face a much harder time getting to the games, and whether tourists and people who visit Paris and just want to see a game once or twice would actually go the full way to those far suburbs. We'll have to see how it pans out. The next steps are a deep review of both sides that will be completed supposedly by the end of next year. So that definitely leaves time for the club to find better solution and hopefully stay closer to the city center. In other news, the team has also been moving. The squad traveled to Los Angeles ahead of the club's World Cup. So the team will start with its first game on the 15th against Atletico Madrid. The squad includes Brazilian youngster Gabriel Moscardo, who was on loan to Reims for this season. And he faced a lot of different injury problems over the past year since he signed for PSG, actually. He is still a really raw talent and a big development hope for the club. And so talk around town is that Luis Enrique wants to bring him with the squad to see more of the player in action and his potential. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if, even if he's originally a defensive midfielder, we see him potentially subbing for Hakimi. I think he's that kind of player with, very, very good defensive skills, but also the ability to move forward on the pitch, decent technical skills as well. So that could be an interesting one. It would allow Warren Zaïre-Emery to stick closer to the midfield than his normal position. But we'll have to see Luis Enrique's plan come to fruition during the Club World Cup. And finally, in transfer news, not that much to report. We've learned more about the Zabarnyi conversation with Bournemouth. Apparently, the English club is hoping to get 75 million euros for the player. So far, PSG has offered 50 and doesn't really want to come up. PSG has signaled that, if they have to wait for the players, they will wait for the players. There's no rush on their side. Luis Campos has a very good relationship with his agent, apparently, and the player has already signaled that he really wants to move to PSG. So I would say for now, it feels like time is on our side. Obviously, we don't want to see another big European team come into that conversation. But we'll have to see how things pan out with Bournemouth. And in other news on the Donnarumma conversation, the player came out in media and said that his priority is to remain in PSG, and the club is expecting to have a conversation with the player while they're staying in Los Angeles. So hopefully that helps break the logjam on this one, and hopefully both parties can come to a deal to extend Donnarumma's contract. On this and on other stuff, I'll keep you posted as more news comes to light. And for now, please hit the subscribe button on the channel. It definitely helps. Like the video and let me know how you feel about stadium plans for PSG. And I'll talk to you later. Ici c'est Paris!